Hey, what's going on? Today's topic is, can I get a green card if I lied? Today is Monday, April 24th, 2023. My name is John Ting, your host of TV, helping you solve your immigration problem and help maybe even preventing it from happening in the first place. Folks, thanks for tuning in. And as you joined, if you're joining for the first time, you might not know this, but we do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion. See if we can point you in the right direction. And you might be able to do that just only with our CARES team. Now, please note they're not attorneys, but we do coach them and train them to the extent that if it's certain situations, they can just email you a free guide, or there's other scenarios where they know, okay, you definitely need to speak with an attorney. But even if you receive a free guide and not schedule a consultation, but you review the free guide, and you realize, yes, I really do need a consultation, we do definitely offer free paid consultation, typically either $149 or $199, depending who you're chatting with. So, but here it is. Let me just show you real quick on our website. I'm sharing on Facebook and YouTube. Hope you had a great weekend. Here in the Houston area, the talk of town was none other than Taylor Swift. So, folks, if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, whether or not you like her music, please drop in the comments, or I guess if you don't like her, let me know. I'm kind of interested. But who wouldn't like Taylor Swift? Apparently, a lot of people do. Let's see here. But yeah, congrats, Chiku. Congrats on that. You got interview date, file a case. Wonderful. Glad to hear. I think you've been waiting for a while. But yeah, I just want to share real quick on how it looks like on our website. Okay, if you're on our website, greencardguys.com, you'll see one of these free guides. Always trying to figure out the configuration here. But then, I have one about mandamus. That's if there's delays on lawsuits, things of that nature. I'm sorry, delays on your cases. And then the solution is to sue the government, most likely, unfortunately. An investor visa, family-based visa, or even through a company, okay? And so let's see here. So you go to greencardguys.com for that. And then, so yeah, let's get down to it. And so if you're new to our channel, welcome again. We go over a topic of the day, then usually about 5-10 minutes. And then if you don't mind, after that, then I'll answer any of your questions to just have an easy flow in that sense. So, but you can always welcome to drop comments and questions in the comment section. I'll get to that shortly, okay? Let's see here. But for some reason you're watching on Instagram and you just can't stay long on the live show. Completely understand. I know you got busy. You're busy, but you can go to greencardguys.tv, which goes to our YouTube channel, and it's all saved up in here or up in there on the cloud. So let's see. So the short answer is yes, you still can qualify for residency. This is, of course, assuming that you already have a sponsor. So it could be an immediate relative or family preference sponsor, petitioner. And if it's immediate relative, that sponsor has to have U.S. citizenship, okay? U.S. citizen by birth, by automatic acquisition through a parent, for example, or through naturalization, okay? So the other thing you need to know, but usually when people come into the situation, like, it's usually not the situation like, oh, John, I confess, I lied before. It takes a little, I know it takes trust, right? Even in a consultation, it takes trust for you to admit certain things. And fortunately, so far, maybe except maybe one or two people, so far in my career, everyone's been forthcoming. After a little bit of conversation, of course, you want to make sure you trust the lawyer you're speaking with. Every consultation with our law firm is confidential. Okay. The only people we would share it with is just people on our team, not with anyone else. Okay. Pretty much think of it as like a Navy SEALs operation. They can't share certain things because it's discreet. It's supposed to be covert, right? It's supposed to be secret. That's the way we think of these things. So, yeah. And usually people that call in, they may have tried to file on their own or with a previous lawyer or something. And then I don't know why, but maybe that prior professional didn't know about this, but the solution is a waiver. Okay. The only problem in applying for this waiver is that you might not have a qualifying relative. Okay, so a qualifying relative, it may depend on the reason, what we call in legal terms grounds of inadmissibility, aka reasons of why the government would not approve your application. Okay, so the most common one recently has been COVID. Like, some of y'all don't want to take the vaccine. I get it to some extent, but it's your body, your health, right? But if you don't take the vaccine, then you can apply for a waiver for that scenario too. It's actually the same form, but this form is used for many different reasons. All right, so you can apply for this waiver. And let me see if I can share my screen. I always like to share my screen no matter what it is if I can. So let's see here. Increase the screen. So if you're on Instagram, you won't be able to see this unless you tune in on the YouTube or Facebook channels. Okay. So you can see here, according to INA Immigration Nationality Act 212H, sorry, I'm going to go a little boring legal language right now. A waiver cannot be granted. Okay, yeah, that's about crimes. Let's skip that part. Okay, today's topic is about immigration fraud or misrepresentation. So I'm just reading off the screen here that if you're inadmissible because of fraud or misrepresented a material fact. So basically, a material fact is essentially anything that's related for the benefit of getting immigration benefit. So it could have been in the past when you applied for a visitor visa, which the form online for B1, B2 is DS 160. Okay. DS 160 is for any non immigrant visa. All right. So you can, if you've done that, I know it sounds weird. You might think, well, John, why is that the case? Congress understands that you may have had a little hiccup in life before, so they're going to give you another chance. But again, it's not allowed for everyone. Okay. So going to letter A here, I'm going to highlight it for y'all, is that if you have a qualifying relative that's a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident who's a spouse or a parent, okay, that's very important, because some people say, like, well, I've been here for 20 plus years and I have a kid, adult kid. Actually, it doesn't even matter what age they are, and they're a U.S. citizen or they're a resident. Most likely it's because they're a citizen. But then a lot of people say, well, can they count as a qualifying relative? Unfortunately, no. Okay, let me share my screen again. Unfortunately, no. They can in other scenarios, but not for this one. Okay. So again, here it says U.S. citizen or resident, spouse, or parent. Or it says if you're fiance visa petitioner, that can count. It doesn't have to be your spouse. So the key thing here is, the second key thing here is, would that person experience extreme hardship if you were denied admission? Okay. So denied admission, even though you likely would be in the U.S. already right now, most people who are in this situation at college are in the U.S., but you can apply if you're abroad. But even in the U.S., you might get a little confused with the language because it does use the word admission, but you're like, I'm already here. So, but yeah, once you get the green card, then technically you've been admitted in that sense. It doesn't have to be at the airport or the border necessarily. So now if you are applying for VAWA, like I think is it Chiku earlier that mentioned this, or stated that she just got a VAWA interview. So anyway, if you're a VAWA sub-petitioner, and the qualified relative can include a child, okay, and it could include yourself. So it's kind of interesting how that works, right? And here it doesn't actually have spouse in here, which makes sense because your spouse is the one who, allegedly abused you, right? So it can include child for if you're a VAWA sub-petitioner, in terms of qualifying relative to explain how they would suffer extreme hardship if denied admission. All right. So, and then when you explain hardship, see, it doesn't show it in the instructions here, but somewhere tucked in somewhere in the legal language and other legal documents, which is why I think people really need a lawyer in this situation. Absolutely, is about hardship for waivers, is because they want to know the hardship in two different ways. What is the hardship if you're whoever the qualifying relative is? If that person was in the U.S. while you were the immigrant, the foreign national is outside the U.S. Okay, that's one way. The second way they want to know is What is the hardship if they, the qualifying relative, left the US and lived with you outside America? So those are two different ways you have to explain. So even if you hire a lawyer and you're like, well, didn't we have to cover the other part? Yes, you do. USCIS wants to know two different scenarios about hardship. Now, the other thing to know about this, about hardship, is that what exactly do I talk about? What do I write about? It doesn't always, it does not require to have a medical concern. It doesn't require that someone in your family or the qualifying relative is ill. We've had most of our clients don't have a qualifying relative who is sick or ill. All right. You don't you don't have to have someone that's like in a deathbed or something like that. Knock on wood, thank goodness. But we most of the time focus on financial hardship, focus on we just really, at the end of the day, we focus on understanding our clients' day-to-day life. And we actually have one of our guidance documents, if you want to call it that, is like hardship books, PDFs. Is we have a calendar, Sunday through Saturday, like literally tell us what is your typical day. So I know some families have a lot of stuff that they're doing, not just work. And some of y'all work at late hours, like what do you call it, graveyard shift. Some work like quote unquote regular hours, 8 to 5 or something, 9 to 5. But think about it, all y'all have different lives. And so we really take the time to understand our client's life. And believe it or not, a lot of clients, maybe you're in a situation where, like, John, I can't write the letter. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't you know your own life? So some of y'all might think, like, isn't it easier? Isn't it easy? Yeah, I mean, it's not actually. Think about when you're trying to write your own love letter to your spouse or significant other, and or even not a letter, just a greeting card, a birthday card. Now, let me know in the comment section if you've been stuck writing a greeting card. And it's just, greeting cards usually, I would think, I could be wrong, maybe you're different, but maybe these greeting card messages are like 2 to 5 sentences. And I'm sure it's not just "I love you," but I don't want to call anyone out if that's all you write on it. I'm guilty of that. Okay, so I'm trying to do better. But imagine these waiver letters. Okay, the letters to explain hardship. Those two different scenarios. There's no like black and white page number length, but typically after said and done, we're speaking with our clients, and we like to have it double spaced. Okay, so it's easier for the officer to read it. But it's typically 4 to 8 pages. That's the average. Okay. So don't worry, it's still not a book, but with all said and done with our different questions that we help with the clients, it can be at least 4 to 8 pages on average. Alrighty. So I imagine y'all may have some questions about this. If you're going to be watching this episode later in the day after the recording, I mean, not recording, but after the live show, welcome to drop a question in the comment section. But ultimately, the best way to get an answer after the show is calling in or going to our website, greencardguys.com. Answer a couple questions there in the contact page, and one of our cares member will call you on during the week. Okay. Let's see here, which we're typically open 8 a.m. Central Time to 6 p.m. Central Time. All right. So that kind of give you an idea. Let's see here. All right. Well, on to some questions. Okay. I think I got one on Instagram first. Oh, got a couple. Okay, cool. Hopefully y'all are still on. Okay, I think the first one is, well, JM said, you say you have a question today, JM. Okay, but someone cut you to it. All right, but I'll answer yours, JM. Is there any way CNAs can get a green card? Okay, I think you asked this the other day, but you may have hopped off. There is a way, but it may depend if you maintain your status or not. So that's a different conversation. Wow Homes DFW. Okay, shout out to Wow Homes, because I'm just going to safely assume you're a real estate agent. So check him out. If a sponsor of EB3 pulls out of contract with attorney, can the candidate pay the attorney since the process already in NVC waiting for an interview letter? Yeah. That's a good one. Okay. Technically, it really just boils up. Well, going higher level here in the sense is that attorneys have to stop the process, because at the very last stage, whether it's if you're in the U.S. and you maintain your status during the time, or you have to go back outside America for consular processing for the interview, green card interview. At least with USCIS, they essentially, the rule is you have to the job offer has to maintain. It has to be maintained. Like there still exists a job offer. If not, then yeah, and you with USCIS, they have to. They either way have to provide proof. Okay, they have to sign off on a form. So even though they signed off in general in the beginning, basically there's different stages of the case where the government still makes sure that that the company maintains that bona fide offer. Okay, so hopefully you're on to hear that. Okay, a lot of great questions today. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I was late. I had to I had to drop off my cousin. She actually came in for the Taylor Swift concert. I know, pretty cool. I didn't get a chance. By the time I checked, the prices were like outrageous. I mean, they were outrageous to begin with. But let's see. Okay, I think the next one is Wilma Taro. Okay. Good day. Do you have a chance to change status from 2001 up until present? I-94, no family here. Is there any chance? Okay, so I-94 is your authorized stay that I think most people know that you would receive. I mean, electronically these days. 2001, it would have been paper-based, a little card. But you're trying to see basically change your status. By the way you phrase it, I'm going to safely assume you don't have any status right now. You overstayed. But Wilma Taro, it really depends if you have a sponsor. Okay, it could be work-based or family-based, or investor-based. But if you've been here, it is possible to still get a non-immigrant visa outside America. It depends. Maybe if you applied for asylum before and timely applied for it, and you have advanced parole. But that's a very, very complex scenario that you would need to call in. Okay. So, but I just want to give you a little bit of an idea. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I think that's it for Instagram for now. But I'll go back to it if someone posts there. Okay, so YouTube. Okay, so I got some comments here. Okay, Chico, yeah, great. Glad you have an interview date. Let's see. It's hard to see buff screens here. Okay, you said Volasel petition need to sponsor 864. No, because you're self-sponsored, so you don't need that. Can you? Okay, Gemma, can I still file for remove conditions after 90 days? Absolutely. USCIS prefers that you file the, what's it called? 751 application before those 3 months expire. But it can be after, but you'll be risking that your case could be referred to immigration, what's it called? Immigration court, okay? Executive Office Immigration Review, EOIR. So you don't want to risk it. But yeah, it sounds like maybe you're almost ready to get it filed. So yeah, don't waste time on it. Even I don't know about your marriage situation, but if it's based on marriage and you're divorced or you're about to be divorced, you have or separated, hot tip here is that still file it, okay? But just let them know that you're going to get the documentation. You're going to send it to them later on, okay? But you don't want to miss out because some people think like, oh, the instructions say you need a divorce order. The instructions are not your lawyer legal advice, okay? It's going to point you in the right direction, but they're not going to give you what we call like complete and direct advice. That'd be why you hire a lawyer. But I figured I'd share here live, just to share some information. Okay, so that was that question. Equity justice. Can you get a copy of an asylum case file from USCIS via FOIA request? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to submit a FOIA request, and you already know what you want, then to make it faster, because that's the whole hiccup here, I guess, is the timing to get the results, is that it can take a long time, on average, like 2 to 5 months. So if you already know exactly what you need, the 589 asylum application, write that in your request, okay? So they can, hypothetically, they say they fast track it. I mean, honestly, we haven't internally tracked that because it's not a metric that we really care about. We care more about the actual case to capture that information. Your next question about a new registry date for or DACA. No update so far, but I do anticipate. I mean, if you want I'm going to come up with share, not come up. I'm not going to make anything up, but I am going to share more information about reform talks. But I'm just going to be as transparent as possible, as I always am. And people always ask me, do I think Congress is going to pass something comprehensively for immigration? And the answer is no, I don't think so. Okay. So I really don't think so, but we will. And that's why I haven't really been recording about it, because the movement on reform for immigration slowed down, but it appears the last couple of weeks it's been picking up again. So I'll dissect those proposals to see if there's any nuggets that's helpful. But I really don't talk about every single proposal, because it's one of those things like someone could just file something as a proposal, but it goes nowhere. And there's like usually thousands of, not thousands, but many proposals. So I usually try to find one that has a lot of support, whether it's pro-immigration or against, and then I'll share that with y'all. Okay. I would love the one if it's a new registry update, because that can help a lot more people, a lot more millions of people. But for DACA, yeah, either one. I mean, I hate to say that, but the government just needs to, the Congress just needs to do something. It's very clear. The public has spoken, but it's just a stalemate, unfortunately. It's just politics these days. Well, I guess the last 20 plus years. Equity, justice. I like your name. I like your YouTube name. Okay. You sent a FOIA for your entire case, but they never sent the asylum case. So I would, you ask if it's a privacy thing. It could be, but they're supposed to redact it. They're supposed to redact it in terms of privacy information, but they would tell you that, okay, in a cover letter. They're supposed to provide a cover letter with the response, with the actual documentation. So I would resubmit it, but be very specific. Now that it sounds like you got everything else, just ask specifically for the I-589 application. Now, if you're looking for the receipt notice, because maybe you lost the receipt notice, then also add that in, the 589 notice of receipt 797C or something. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Your next question is, are they still requiring COVID jab for medical green card? Yes, they are. When will they remove this requirement? You can't take it for health reasons. You're welcome. Happy to share. That's a good question. I don't see any update about that. Actually, we just had an interview for a green card, for marriage green card last week, and it was all gravy. I was actually more concerned about the prior marriage, but the officer, long story short, we prepped it very well. So officer read our client's letters, and it sounded like that resolved it. Okay, about any issue with prior marriage. So the only concern was really about the medical exam. And there's so many rules surrounding a medical exam. It's kind of nuts. But because ultimately the reason, because there's health ground in inadmissibility, aka reason to remove, to not allow someone to have legal status in America, which doesn't make sense, because if someone gets denied based on a health ground, I've never seen this. I'm interested. If any other lawyers on the show right now, let me know in a DM or something. If or here's a comment here. I wonder if other people have been sent to court after because they couldn't get the waiver approved for a COVID vaccine. Okay, I really wonder that. So equity justice, you might know this already, but yeah, you have to file 601 application, which is what I showed earlier. Let me go back one page to see if I can get to it on this USCIS page here. Okay, let me increase the font. Let me go to fee. Okay, that didn't take me there. Okay. Let me go back one page. Okay, let's see. Oh, it took me there. Oh, didn't get there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you do have to take the COVID vaccine. Okay, but if you don't, then there is a waiver application. Okay, I just went to the instructions earlier, but it's a 601 application. All right, then you scroll down. The fee, first of all, it's $930. It's so freaking expensive. So I know, I mean, the COVID vaccine, I think, is still free, but I mean, obviously, if you can't take it for health reasons, then you can't take it, right? Let me check the instructions actually, because I believe, from what I recall, the instructions about this COVID vaccine. Let me just type in. Okay, this is the. Let me increase this if I can. Okay, if it says you're seeking a waiver under INA Section 212G2C of the vaccine requirement, you must file this application if you seek an exemption. Blah blah blah. They repeat the same words because vaccinations are against your religious beliefs or moral convictions, which doesn't really cover your situation if you're saying that it's for health reasons, which is kind of nuts. You would think that it would have another option here if it's, not just religious or moral convictions, but you literally cannot take it because of health reasons. So this is pretty ridiculous. Equity justice, hopefully you're still on to see that. But yeah, I'm going to put out a request to other attorneys to see if they've had a similar situation. Okay. That's really important to know. Because I can imagine you're in a difficult situation. If I personally wouldn't want to file a waiver if it doesn't actually allow me to file it based on, fairly broad reason. But if you can provide proof of it, but man, that's a lot of money to pay and not know if it could qualify. So, equity justice. I mean, if you want, you can DM us or you're on YouTube. I guess you could text us if you want more information. We can get your email. We'll share updates if we can. Otherwise, we'll share it on the live show. Okay, you got COVID twice, and you have natural immunity now. You're sick, so you can't get the vaccine. Okay, I really hope you get all the treatment you need for your current situation. Hope you feel better. All the power to you and your health. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people already had it several times and have different reasons. So that's just kind of strange that the government application here doesn't include other scenarios, because they usually have like a catch-all kind of situation, catch-all provision. All right, let's see. Back to Instagram. Wilma Taro, you asked, "Where's my office? If you can visit sometime." Yeah, we have a team there in Houston, Texas. Okay, that's a primary office. In Dallas, we share an office in Dallas as well, but our primary one is here in Houston. It's off of Hillcroft. If you're from the Houston area, Hillcroft and 59. Okay, southwest of 610. All right, so hopefully that helps. But of course, so even if you're not in Houston and you want to plan something, I was going to say plan an outing, having a picnic here. Okay, well, clearly I'm thinking about lunch now, but yeah, I'm always happy to take a client out. I think that's always fun. So you can get an idea of the Asian food. Our office is near Bel Air, which is Chinatown. But it's actually way more than Chinese food, by the way. So yeah, but yeah, plan in advance. Usually my schedule for any consultations, if you want to meet in person for any consults, it'd be probably 9 to 12 typically. Okay, for me, if it's in person. You're in LA. You don't. Oh, you're in LA. Okay, well, you guys got like K-Town at least. Okay, that's good. But yeah, we can hop on. So typically how we do it, actually, it's good that you asked this question. For those who are not in Houston or not in Texas, we do have what we call consultations by kind of like this video, right? We use Dialpad. We have Zoom as a backup, but Dialpad, you don't have to download anything. You don't have to download an app. You don't need a secret code to get in. So we keep it as easy as possible. But the best way to schedule something, you can go to our website, to self-schedule on greencardguys.com, and our cares team will still call you afterwards to see if maybe there might be more information that we need to to ask you before the actual consultation. Okay, folks? So you're welcome, Equity Justice. Happy to help. All righty. Well, thank you so much. I should be on tomorrow. It's kind of a wacky week, but we'll see. I do believe we have something planned for tomorrow. Okay, and on Wednesday I'm typically on LinkedIn on Wednesday, but here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, thanks so much. Y'all have a wonderful week. Take care.